my brother was really one of the main reasons why we started Tans Treats.
We wanted them to learn to serve.
44% of the students that attend a Washington County school qualify for free or reduced lunch. So that's almost half of the population potentially really needs a program like this.
They get excited when that Friday comes. They know that their bag's going to come, and so they know they're not going to be hungry. And so it does impact their learning because that's one less worry on their mind.
There is such a need to help ease the burden that parents have. Why not? We love the Tans Treats program because it fills a need that we've been longing to fill for a long time. We've got a lot of families, either single parent, low income families, where they have to work to make ends meet, and often on the weekends they have to do that, and their kids are left eating cornflakes all day. And what Tans Treats does, it gives food for these kids that they can prepare themselves, learn some responsibility, as well as just fill their bellies. And so we saw this as a perfect fit for our school. Our teachers love it and the kids love it.
I've had snacks for my kids to give them if they didn't have breakfast or something like that. So it was nice to have Tans Treats to know that they were going to get those snacks over the weekend. Because a lot of my students would go home just with older siblings and have to do their own meals.
Over 140 kids benefit from this with us. And sometimes we think in our little pocket community, everybody's dandy and children aren't hungry. But statistically speaking, I think it's 1 in 5 kids in the state of Utah deal with hunger on a consistent basis. So we try to spread the word as much as possible.
This is our Tans Treats base of operation, where all of the organizing and packing of weekend meals takes place. We rely heavily on the local community for support. There are so many amazing people that make this possible. Our normal packing process is to just create a line where kids or adults or whatever groups of people there are that are coming to help will just pick up a bag, and they'll come down the aisle and pick up one of each item, and then tie the bags off, and we count the bags and pack the exact amount of bags for the kids that we have that week, which we receive those numbers from the schools individually on a weekly basis. The children in one bag will have a breakfast and a lunch, a snack, and a dinner for each day. If it's a longer weekend, then we provide more meals in order to get them through the longer weekend. The type of food items that are best for donations are non-perishable items that are typically easy for a younger child to be able to prepare on their own, such as cup of ramen noodles, Easy Mac, granola bars, the single packet oatmeals, applesauce, and then we always like to have at least some protein in a Vienna sausage or SpaghettiOs. Sometimes chicken noodle soup works well.
I'm going to tell you a story about a little boy. When he was young and in elementary school, he would always come home hungry, starving, or so he thought. And this went on for a couple of weeks, and finally his mother sat him down and she said, "Are you not eating the lunches that I'm sending you?" And he said, "No, I'm giving it to a little boy in my class who never has any food." And he proceeded to tell his mother how sad he was that this little boy was always hungry. So, for the rest of the school year, that mother started sending extras with him so that both boys could eat and neither of them would go hungry. And that little boy is my son Tanner. Back then I called him Little Joe. He was very big-hearted and he was a giver, and he gave everything away, literally. We made the joke that if it wasn't nailed or bolted down, he'd give it away because if anybody needed it, he wanted to make sure they had it. At the young age of 23, we lost him and we were devastated. And me, as a mother, had a very raw heart. I wanted to give him a Christmas present, and I couldn't because he was gone. And it was 10 days before Christmas, and I had no Christmas gifts. So I got up, decided I better go to the store because I have grandkids to buy for. I went to the store, there was a pair of Levi's, and I walked out, sat in my car and bawled and went home. Decided I'm going to go back, I'm going to get those Levi's, I'm going to buy a whole bunch of things Tanner likes, and I gave them away, and it felt good. And I promised him that the next year we'd give him something that meant something. I was so worried that he'd be forgotten. I wanted his little nieces and nephews to know how much he gave and I wanted them to learn to give. So it only seemed fitting that we carry on his legacy of giving. The girls and I went to South Carolina to a women's weekend retreat, and they were doing a service project. It was called Backpack Buddies. They packed lunches and dinners for children that did not get fed on the weekends. And we were so taken that there was that many hungry kids. And it continually in my mind kept running over and over and over this story of Tanner when he was little giving his lunch away.
It really just kind of touched our hearts because we felt like this is a way that Tanner's legacy could live on and that these are the things that he would be doing if he were here still.
So when we went back to Georgia the next Christmas, as our gift to Tanner, our entire family bought, bagged up, and delivered all the food, and it just seemed it was the perfect gift for a little boy who gave his lunch away, and it was a perfect way for us to honor this son and this uncle that we loved, and that's where the whole thing started.
We all moved back to this area from out of state in 2016, and we had no idea if they already had a program like this. We started by speaking to a few of the school counselors, and they said that they knew for a fact there were a lot of kids at their schools that could benefit.
We made our first delivery in September of 2016, and a year later we were up to over 600 deliveries a week.
I recently got an email from a mom saying, as a single mother, she could not do it without our Tan's treats because she's at work.
Parents that have actually talked to me, they've thanked me. This program is so great. I'm grateful to have the food to not have to worry about my kids over the weekend if I'm at work. They've always been grateful for that and look forward to those long-term bags like the Christmas bags and the spring break bags. It's such a blessing to have this program because you can see the impact.
We were delivering, Brad and I, to one of the schools, and this lady pulled up in front of me so I couldn't go any farther. And she grabbed my hand and started crying, and she said, "I pray for you every single night. Thank you for helping me feed my babies." And I was just so overtaken with emotion, and I just said, "Merry Christmas, Tanner." And I knew he was happy.
The vision of all of us at Tan's Treats is that we want to be able to expand to the entire community.
In Washington County, there are 25 elementary schools, and 13 of them are Title I schools. So our goal, at the very least, would be to be able to serve every one of those Title I schools. That's a big goal, so we take it one step at a time.
An old man sees a little girl throwing starfish back into the ocean. And he goes down and he says, "Look at all the thousands of those. You can't possibly make a difference." She picked one up and she threw it into the ocean, and she said, "I made a difference to that one." We can't fix all of the hunger that's out there, but we can do our part in our little community. I would love to get into all the schools that need us.